All right, Shalom. First off, give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bashem Yashai Bashem Karkadash, the bonders to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are learning in truth and sincerity, the women, the children, the confused, and the faith who follow. So, you know, this lesson, as you can see, is about the miracles that are going to be coming. We are living in a heavy time of prophecy, and it's really going to be some, for lack of a better term, miracles that are going to occur. And we've read a lot of the stories. Just off the top of my head, Moses splitting the sea. You have Yahweh Shai breaking the bread and the fish, feeding all those people. Daniel in the lion's den. Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. In the furnace. You know, countless number of miracles. So I'd be all day going into everything. I do have a couple of examples that I want to give. That should be a faith builder. That's really what this lesson is about. Because ultimately, Yahweh Shem Yashai is on our side. All right. It says that the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous realm within and are hidden. All right, roughly paraphrased. But the scriptures say that if this man had been given, this man being Esau, if he if time had not been shortened, that he would destroy the whole world. So for the elect's sake, the times are going to be shortened, and we are going to see these miracles. We are going to see miraculous things happen in front of our eyes. So I just wanted to give, like I said, a couple different examples, and Lord's will, this video is edifying. First example we're going to get is it's a little lengthy read, so I'm not going to be doing too much breaking down. It's pretty self-explanatory. So like I said, bear with me. This is 2 Kings chapter 1 verse 1. It says, "Then Moab rebelled against Israel after the death of Ahab, and Ahaziah fell down through the lattice in his upper chamber that was in Samaria and was sick. And he sent messengers and said unto them, Go and inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron, whether I shall recover of this disease. But the angel of the Lord said unto Elijah the Tishbite, Arise, go up and meet the messengers of the king of Samaria, and say unto them, Is it not because there is not a power in Israel, that ye go to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron? Now therefore, thus saith the Lord, Thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art gone up, but thou shalt surely die. And Elijah departed. And when the messengers turned back unto him, he said unto them, Why are ye now turned back? And he said unto them, There came up a man to meet us, and he said unto us, Go, turn again unto the king that sent you, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, that it is not because there is not a power in Israel. It is not because there is not a power in Israel that thou sendest to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron. Therefore thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die. Okay. Reading on. And he said unto them, What manner of man was he which came up to meet you and told you these words? And they answered him, He was a hairy man, and girt with the girdle of leather about his loins. And he said, It is Elijah the Tishbite. Then the king sent unto him a captain of 50 with his 50, and he went up to him, and behold, he sat on the top of a hill, and he spake unto him, Thou man of the Most High, the king hath said, Come down. And Elijah answered and said to the captain of 50, If I be a man of the Most High, then let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And there came down fire from heaven and consumed him and his 50. So you have Elijah, the prophet, okay, a man of the Most High. He was on a hill, and you had a whole garrison down there, and he called fire down on them. That's a miracle. That's akin to us in those last days, being trapped or, not having nowhere to go. And, the Most High just, bust a move and, all the soldiers get killed. You know, these are the things that are going to be happening in that day during Jacob's trouble. All right, the Most High, He's going to endow His men with spiritual powers. He's going to put His Spirit within us, so we're going to be able to do these things. Lord's will, I'm able to do them. Lord's will, you're able to do them. But man, it's going to be really heavy. So, but we have to have faith. We have to trust that we're going to be able to do these things. That the Most High is going to take care of us. It starts. That's where it starts. All right. So, like I said, this lesson is to be a boost of your faith. Okay. Verse 13, it says, "And he sent again a captain of the third." Did I skip one? Okay. Verse 11. Again, he sent unto him another captain of 50 with his 50, and he answered him. And he answered and said unto him, O man of the Most High, thus have the king said, Come down quickly. And Elijah answered and said unto them, If I be a man of the Most High, let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and in thy 50. And the fire of the Most High came down from heaven and consumed him in his 50. And he sent again a captain of the third 50 with his 50. And the third captain of 50 went up and came and fell on his knees before Elijah and besought him and said unto him, O man of the Most High, I pray thee, let my life and the life of these 50 of thy servants be precious in thy sight. So now they knew what's up. Okay. They understood very well what was going on, and that it wasn't going to just go down the way that the king wanted it to. Okay, so verse 14, it says, Behold, there came down fire from heaven and burned up the two captains of the former 50s and their 50s. Therefore, let my life now be precious in thy sight. All right, so he's begging. And the angel of the Lord said unto Elijah, Go down with him, be not afraid of him. And he arose and went down with them unto the king. And he said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, for as much as thou hast sent messengers to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron, is it not because there is no power in Israel to inquire with his word? Therefore thou shalt not come down off that bed from which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die. So hey, the message stood firm. Okay, you underestimate or you deny that there is a power in Israel. Hey, he gonna show you, and that's what's gonna happen in that day, man. A lot of people are gonna see. They're gonna understand then, who we worship and who he really is. That he is everything, and that he's gonna make everything happen the way that he planned it to happen. All right, he's gonna protect his men. He's gonna allow his men to flourish in that day, and he's gonna bring to the knees the wicked. Okay, and just reading this, it got me wanting to read another scripture. So, Lord's will, we'll get it in. This one shouldn't be that long of a read. Yeah, this is Matthew 17. I'm gonna start at 24. It says, and when they were come to Capernaum, they that received tribute money came to Peter and said, Doeth not your master pay tribute? And he saith, Yes. And when he was come into the house, Yahushua prevented him, saying, What thinkest thou, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Of their own children or of strangers? And Peter said unto him, Of strangers. Yahushua saith unto him, Then are the children free? Notwithstanding, lest we should offend them, go to the sea and cast a hook, and take up the fish that first cometh, and when thou hast opened his mouth, thou shalt find a piece of money. Take that and give it unto them for me and thee. So basically, they had to pay tribute. He told them to go fishing and to cast his hook, and the first thing you pull in, there's gonna be some money in the fish mouth. If that's not a miracle, I don't know what is. All right, now that's akin to saying in that day when we need, you know, provision, whether it's money, whether it's food, water, whatever, the Lord is going to provide. We have to have faith because the Lord is going to provide everything. All right, we don't have to be carnal and stockpile weapons and stockpile groceries and food and all that. Now, be prudent. There's nothing wrong with having some extra canned goods, some water, things of that nature. But don't let that be your faith. Or your faith should be in the Most High. All right, first and foremost. Um, let's get this Second Maccabees. This is Second Maccabees. Let me see. It's chapter 1. I'm gonna start at 18. It says, "Therefore, whereas we are now purposed to keep the purification of the temple upon the 25th day of the month of Caslu, we thought it necessary to certify you thereof, that ye also might keep it as the feast of the tabernacles and of the fire, which was given us when Nehemiah offered sacrifice. After that, he had built the temple and the altar. For when our fathers were led into Persia, the priests that were then devout took the fire of the altar privily and hid it in a hollow place of a pit without water." Okay, that's the point. Without water, where they kept it sure, so that the place was unknown to all men. Now, after many years, when it pleased the Most High, Nehemiah, being sent from the king of Persia, did send of the posterity of those priests that hid it, that had hid it to the fire. But when they told us, they found no fire, but the water. Okay, so they hid it in the cave or whatnot, and they didn't find fire, but they found water, or a thick water, it says. Then commanded he them to draw it up and to bring it. And when the sacrifices were laid on, Nehemiah commanded the priests to sprinkle the wood and the things laid upon there with the water. So you gotta extrapolate and picture this. You have your table, your altar. You put your sacrifices on there, and normally you would have the fire, and you would put the fire on there. They didn't have a fire. They had the thick water. So, they sprinkled the water onto the sacrifice. Now, let's see what happened with the sacrifice. Verse 22. "When this was done, and the time came that the sun shone, which afore was hid in the clouds, there was a great fire kindled, so that every man marveled." They didn't need a match. They didn't need, a spark or anything. The sun came out and fire. It said, and every man marveled. Everyone would, you know, who is it? Who else can do that but the power of Israel? All right, Yahweh, he is to be. He is the existing one. He is everything. Okay? Verse 23, it says, "And the priest made a prayer whilst the sacrifice was consuming. I say both the priest and all the rest, Jonathan, beginning, and the rest answered thereunto, and Nehemiah did." So that's the point on that. But when you get into to Second Maccabees, I'd be wrong if I didn't go to that third chapter and get that account with Heliodorus. Bear with me. Okay, so um I'll start at verse 7 just to set the scene. There was a wicked Israelite that wanted to be, I believe he wanted to be high priest. Let me go up in. Yeah. Yep. Just to start at verse 4, it says, but this is Second Maccabees chapter 3, verse 4. It says, but one Simon of the tribe of Benjamin, who was made governor of the temple, fell out with the high priest about a disorder of the city, a disorder in the city. Then he could, oh snap. Then he could no more overcome Onias. He got him to Apollonius, the son of Thracius, who then was governor of Celesyria and Finis, and told him that the treasury of Jerusalem was full of infinite sums of money, so that the multitude of their riches, which did not pertain to the account of the sacrifices, was innumerable, and that it was possible to bring it all into the king's hand. So basically, he said, like, man, I got a lick for you. You know what I'm saying? The Jews, they got an innumerable amount of money. You know what I'm saying? You can just picture, a salty nigga doing that. Hater. Now I'm gonna drop a dime on you. It's an inside joke. But verse 7 it says, now when Apollonius came to the king, and he had showed him the money whereof he was told, the king chose out Heliodorus his treasurer, and sent him with a commandment to bring him the foresaid money. So forthwith Heliodorus took his journey under the color of visiting the cities of Celesyria and Finis, but indeed to fulfill the king's purpose. And when he was come to Jerusalem and had been courteously received of the high priest of the city, he told him what the intelligence was given of the money, and declared wherefore he came, and asked if the things were so indeed. And then the high priest told him that there was such money laid up for the relief of widows and of fatherless children, and that some of it belonged to Hyrcanus, the son of Tobias, a man of great dignity, and not as that wicked Simon had misinformed. The sum whereof in all was 400 talents of silver and 200 of gold. So that's a lot of money from back then. That's a lot of money for right now, and that it was altogether impossible that such wrong should be done unto them that had committed it to the holiness of the place and to the majesty of inviolable sanctity of the temple, honored all over the world. But Heliodorus, being of the king's commandment, but Heliodorus, because of the king's commandment given him, said that in any wise it must be brought into the king's treasury, so that at that day which he appointed, he entered into the order this matter, whereof there was no small agony throughout the whole city. So he's about to go get the money at the temple, and you got the city going crazy, like, oh my God, he's about to take the money. He's about to desecrate the temple. You know what I'm saying? He's violating us. And as in these times, we're being violated, not only with that snake oil juice, but the charagma. Right? They're slowly but surely stripping all your civil liberties and subjecting you to this man's rule. You gotta, what does the scripture say? That you gotta worship the image of the beast. All right, and this isn't them having to worship the image of the beast, but we know that in the Maccabees it was a similar time to now, because what? You couldn't be a Jew. You couldn't keep the law how you wanted to. You had to basically conform to Antiochus Epiphanes' New World Order. And these current, how can I put it, elites, they're setting up their own New World Order. So it's very akin to akin. But just to get to the point of the story, Verse 15 said, "But the priests, prostrating themselves before the altar in their priests' vestments, called unto heaven upon him that made a law concerning things given to he kept, that they should safely be preserved for such as had committed them to be kept. Then whosoever had looked then whosoever had looked the high priest in the face, it would have been a wound it would have wounded his heart, for his countenance and the changing of his color declared the inward agony of his mind." So he's getting pale. He's like, oh man, you can tell that he's messed up in the spirit. For the man was so compassed with fear and horror of the body that it was manifest to them, they looked upon him what sorrow he had now in his heart. Others ran flocking out of their houses into to the general supplication, because the place was like to come into contempt. And the women girt with sackcloth under their breasts abounded in the streets, and the virgins that were kept in ran, some to the gates and some to the walls, and others looked out of the windows, and all, holding their hands toward heaven, made supplication. So you can just imagine the whole city crying, "Oh, Yahweh Shem Yahshai, Yahweh Shem Yahshai." We'll probably just call law Yahweh, call law Yahweh, because back in those times there was no need for the mediator at that point in time. But in these times, it's going to be similar, because they're going to be going house to house, door to door, kicking in doors. Anybody that's on that red list, especially the men of the Lord, the people who are putting up these videos, the people who are watching these videos, people out on the highways and byways, it's going to be, that type of situation. It's going to get real like that. So we're going to have to call Yahweh Shem Yahshai, Yahweh Shem Yahshai, call law Yahweh Shem Yahshai, Babu Kashah, Babu Kashah, Babu Kashah, Babu Kashah. That's the spirit that we're going to be in. And when the whole city started crying out, so let's see what the Most High did for his people. It is one of my favorite stories. It says, I'll read 22 again. It says, "Then they called upon the Almighty Lord to keep these things committed to the trust safe and sure for those that had committed them. Nevertheless, Heliodorus executed that which he was decreed. Now, as he was there present himself with his guard about the treasury, the Lord of Spirits and the Prince of all power caused a great apparition, so that all presumed to come in with him were astonished at the power of the Most High, and fainted and were sore afraid." All right. So it was an angel. An angel appeared. "For there appeared unto them a horse with a terrible rider upon him, and adorned with a very fair covering. And he ran fiercely and smote Heliodorus at his forefeet, and it seemed that he that sat upon the horse had a complete harness of gold. All right. Moreover, two other young men appeared before him, notable in strength, excellence of beauty, and comely in apparel, who stood by him on either side and scourged him continually and gave him many sore stripes." So you can just imagine, they about to go in there, they, they got the little treasure box, and then all of a sudden, boom, you know what I'm saying? You see the horse and his rider, and the horse, does one of these joints and knocks him down, and then the two angels come from the side and just start stumping them and jumping them, beating them up, beating them down, getting a holy beat down, a righteous beat down, indignation, righteous anger. It says, "And Heliodorus fell suddenly into the ground and was compassed with great darkness. But they that were with him took him up and put him into a litter. Thus him that lately came with a great train and with all his guard unto the said treasury they carried out, and being unable to help himself with his weapons. And I'm gonna read that over. Thus him that lately came with a great train, and with all his guard unto the said treasury they carried out, being unable to help himself with his weapons, and manifestly they acknowledged the power of the Most High. So I mean, they couldn't use their weapons against him. They couldn't do nothing. All they can do is just carry him out. Okay, it says, for he by the hand of the Most High was cast down and lay speechless without hope of life. He was on the brink of death. But they praised the Lord that miraculously honored his own place for the temple, which a little afore was full of fear and trouble. When the Almighty Lord appeared, was full of joy and gladness. So everyone, like I said, was wailing. Everyone was crying. All that wailing and weeping turned into tears of joy and gladness, man. The Most High is going to take care of us. He is going to be there for us. We should be excited in these times. We should want, all these things to come to pass. Want all these mandates to come. Want the charagma, the martial law, all of that, because it just means that we're one step closer to getting our kingdom. And how are we going to get in that kingdom? That's going to be one of the biggest and the baddest miracles of all. Right? This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1. It says, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all they looked for. What is that speaking about? That's speaking about the chariots, man, the chariots of the Lord. All right, a so-called UFO. Okay, but it's not a unidentifiable flying object. We know that through Scripture that those are the chariots of the Most High. Those are angels. Okay, and flying what you would know as a flying ship or spaceship. With the, like I said, the phrase has been coined, the quote UFO, because Esau has to put that reverse knowledge, or whatever you want to call it, that dogma, that BS out there of who it really is, so that when they do come back, not only are you afraid of them, but you'll fight against them. You're not going to look for them to be beamed up, but the elect is going to be looking at them like, hey, this is my ticket up out of here. All right. So like I said, these are trying times that we are coming in, but they're beautiful times as well. And we are going to see some crazy things, Akim, that I can't tell you what we're going to see. No one can tell you, because why? Is a time that never was before. But we well understand that it is very necessary, and it is going to be an exciting time to be alive. And with that being said, we give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Makar Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are learning in truth and sincerity, the women, the children, the confusion of faith who follow. Shalom.